Hey guys, welcome back. I'm doing some thinking in my car again, and I just want to say a few things. First, if you are easily offended by thinking outside of the box and questioning narratives, then you can go ahead and turn off, go watch something else, because you might not be happy with this. And for all of you that hang around, I want to tell you something. They don't care if you are jabbed or not. We're all under this impression that they want every single last one of us jabbed. And when I say they, I mean the government, the powers that be, those that are pushing this. They don't want you jabbed. They don't care whether you get jabbed or not. What they actually want is compliance. They want you to be compliant. They want you to be malleable, controllable. That's all they really want. That's the ultimate goal. And this whole thing is kind of a push to polarize people, to separate people, to see where you stand, to see who's going to draw a line in the sand and who's going to put their foot down, who the non-compliant are, basically. That's what I truly believe. They don't care if you're jabbed or not. They just want you to be malleable. And they're going to keep pushing and pushing until they get the majority of people to be absolutely controllable, I guess. And it started with the masks, which we all saw it. It became this polarizing thing. Like, there were your maskers and your non-maskers. There were people who were like, I'm not wearing it ever. There were people like, okay, I'll wear it if I have to. And there were people like, I'm going to wear it 100% of the time, even when I'm sleeping. There was this kind of polarizing effect with the masks, and that was the beginning of it. And then it came down to the jab. That was like phase 2 of polarizing and separating the people to see who was going to be compliant and who wasn't. And it's done a good job so far. I think America is kind of like not the last bastion of freedom, but we're kind of a different beast compared to the rest of the world. And in other nations, they had an easier time implementing a mandate, or forcing it on the people. Places like, I'm not going to say the name, never mind, other countries had an easier time with it. But United States is a little different. I mean, we kind of stand on this idea of freedom and autonomy in a way. So they're having a harder time with us. And I think once you break America, once you make America compliant, that kind of gives way to the rest of the world, or for the rest of the world to be taken down and just brought to their knees. That's what I think. And if you know what the end game is, and you know what their ultimate plan is, and you're familiar with the World Economic Forum and all those entities and powers that be that have this ultimate plan in place, then it makes a lot of sense. How do you ever expect the people to come to terms with you'll own nothing and be happy if people still have bodily autonomy, if people still have a sense of ownership, a sense of rights, a sense of their ability to make decisions for themselves? How do you expect people to get to the point where they're okay with owning nothing and they're actually happy if you don't break them down first? And you have to break them down to the very core. I mean, you won't own your own decisions, let alone stuff and property. That's where they want us. And it's going to be easier in some nations, but in the United States, it's not going to be as easy. We can own land, we can own our homes, other than having to still pay property taxes. I mean, do you ever really own your land? I don't know. But they got to break us down to the very, very core and get us into a state of groupthink, where it's all about the good of the group, not the individual. And that's very much a mindset in large Asian nation, as Prepper Now would put it. That's very much the mindset that the CCP pushes on the people. And we kind of saw that push, that changing of mindset with the masks again, because you were told you're not doing this for yourself, you're doing this to protect others. And I'm not saying one way or the other. I do think that obviously masks have a benefit. I don't think they're 100% foolproof. I'm not going to go into that right now, but obviously I do think that they do have a benefit. But it was not about the benefit. It was about the mindset. It was about putting in your mind that this is for the greater good of everyone else, not yourself. And that's part of what they had to push in order to get us to that next level of control. I hope I'm not rambling too much. I hope this makes sense. But the whole jab thing ultimately is what I'm trying to say. It's not about changing your body or changing something in your body or building immunity. It's about changing your mind. It's about getting into your psyche. That's what this is really about. Because they don't need to change what, the makeup of your body or anything like that. All they need to do is change your mind and push a new way of thinking. They need you to think that it's for the greater good and not about yourself. Because once you separate a person from their self, it's easier to control them as a mass. So that's what it's all about. It's about compliance. It's about control. And just think about that. For all I know, every single last jab is a placebo. And they just wanted to see who would take it and see who wouldn't. I'm not saying that's true at all. That's a wild conspiracy theory. But just think about it. And you guys have a good day. See you later.